Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for a special episode of The People's Duchess, a Right Royal Christening. Today we're going to hop right into the episode as requested by you, the Squatties. This is a brief history of the famous Hinton lace christening gown worn to baptize royal babies into the Church of England. I love a historical educational bit of news. So I've got my low BMI voice on, and without further ado, let's get into it. A royal christening gown is an item of baptismal clothing used by a royal family at family christenings. Among those presently using such a gown are the royal families of the United Kingdom, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. In most of these families, the tradition goes back over a century, with the United Kingdom kicking off the trend with the original Hinton lace christening gown having been in use for 168 years. The Danish royal family has used a christening gown for 154 years, the Dutch 144 years, the Swedish royal family 118 years, Norway 104 years, and the newest family to take on the tradition are the Spanish royals. While it's tradition for these families to reuse the same gowns, some members of these families have decided to use their own purpose-bought gowns for their children. In 1867, for the christening of Prince Christian Victor Schleswig-Holstein, his mother, Princess Helena, used a different gown given to her by her mother, Queen Victoria, and Prince Joachim of Denmark has favored using gowns by the Danish designer Henrik Hviid for his children, Count Nikolai, Count Felix, Count Henrik, and Countess Athena. In the United Kingdom, the Honiton christening gown, or simply the royal christening gown, was created for the christening of Victoria, Princess Royale, in 1841 and was used by the family until 2004 when it was retired for conservation. Elizabeth II commissioned a replica of the 1841 gown, which was first used for the christening of her youngest grandson, James, Viscount Severn, in 2008. This replica gown is the one in use as of today. In 1840, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert's first child, Princess Victoria, Princess Royale, was born. For her christening on the 10th of February, 1841, her parents commissioned both the lily font and a new christening gown. The gown was designed by Janet Sutherland, a common Irish seamstress who served as embroiderer to the Queen. Queen Victoria was so impressed by the woman's handiwork that at just 34 years old, she was given this magnificent appointment. Made of Hinton lace and Spitalfield silk, and was fashioned after Queen Victoria's wedding dress. The gown itself was kept and reused by Victoria for all her children and for all her grandchildren, the children of Albert Edward, Alexandra, Alfred and Marie, Arthur and Louis, Leopold and Helena, Beatrice and Henry. Subsequent generations of the family also continued to use it, including Victoria's great-grandson, Lord Louis Mountbatten. In all, 5 kings, 4 queens, an empress, and a crown princess were christened in the original gown. The children christened in this gown were Victoria, Princess Royale, on the 10th of February, 1841, Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, on the 25th of January, 1842, Prince George of Wales, on the 7th of July, 1865, Princess Maud of Wales, who had a Christmas Eve baptism on the 24th of December, 1869, Princess Marie of Edinburgh on the 15th of December, 1875, Princess Margaret of Connaught on the 11th of March, 1882, Princess Victoria Eugenie of Battenberg on the 23rd of November, 1887, Prince Edward of York on July 16th, 1894, Prince Albert of York on the 17th of February, 1896, Princess Elizabeth of York, later known as Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, was christened in this gown on the 29th of May, 1926, and of course, Charles. In total, the original gown was used by 62 royal children over a period of 163 years. Both of Charles's sons, his heir apparent, and his younger son, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, were also christened in the original gown, while 4 of their children were christened in the replica gown. As we all know, Prince Archie was christened in this replica gown in 2019, which set a lot of royal firsts. He was the first royal baby in modern standards to have a private christening ceremony, and his sister Lilibet had a christening, and we do not know whether she was christened into the Church of England or a different denomination. We don't know much about it at all, except that Diana's sisters came. Meghan's mother was in attendance, as was godfather Tyler Perry. This also set a royal record, as Princess Lilibet is the very first American royal ever, born and raised on California soil, but belonging to the British aristocracy by birth. There are strict instructions relating to the care of the gown, including that it be washed by hand with spring water after each use and be stored in a dark room. These measures are meant to slow down the garment's aging process and to preserve it as much as possible. In a journal entry, on the day of Princess Melly of Edinburgh's christening, Queen Victoria wrote, "The baby was dressed in the old christening robe, which will hardly hold together." At the time, the dress was 34 years old. The 1841 gown was last used in 2004 at the christening of Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor, 163 years after its first use. Queen Elizabeth II subsequently decided it was too fragile for continued use and had the gown retired. The Queen then commissioned her personal wardrobe advisor to recreate the original gown. Craftsmen from both the United Kingdom and Italy were involved in the project so as to ensure that the new gown would be as similar to the original as possible. The replica gown was first used on the 19th of April 2008 at James, the Earl of Wessex's christening, and has been in use ever since. The most recent use of the gown was in April of 2022 to christen Sienna Mapoli-Mosey, Princess Beatrice and Lord Mapoli-Mosey's daughter. And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this Right Royal Christening. I am thinking of making this a series on royal baby christening gowns and royal baby christenings. So if you would like to see more of these historical christenings, know more about the gowns, or just dive a little bit deeper into the royal history of garments and fashion, this is a fashion education channel, and I would be happy to bring that to you. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind, and I'll see you next time.